Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snowfell Cinema, where we only show the most premium of tarot card movies. I'm going to start with a bit of a routine security check. Security. Did you guys see? That I know SNL is a big thing, especially with Ariana Grande, but the skit where the LaQuisha, I don't know if that's right, but she was from Out of the Hood program at it was a spoof of Burger King, I think, and they were like, someone ordered. Anyway, let me just start with a security check. I'm gonna start by brushing off around your face. Stay still for me. I'll let you know if I need you to do anything. I'm gonna brush around your ears. And then your third eye, down your nose, and then your mouth. So this is going to be a very thorough face cleansing, right? Then I'm going to start polishing that up. All nice and pretty. I'm going to do everything at the same time. Usually I like to do things one at a time, but today we're feeling confident. Very good. Now if you lift your chin, I'm going to get your neck, your collarbone, and your shoulders. If you've been here before, this is really, really routine. If you don't mind spinning around for me real quick, I'm going to do the back of you, starting with the back of your head, your crown area, the back of your ears, and then the back of your neck. Right? I'm going to go on to your shoulders, your shoulder blades, the other shoulder, this other shoulder blade, and down your spine. Then I'm going to polish that up, back of your head, back of your neck, your shoulders, and then down your spine. All right, if you could turn back around for me. Did I polish under your neck? I think I did, but if you don't mind lifting up your chin, I'm going to do that one more time just to make sure you're all nice and shiny and comfortable for our reading today, for our little show today. I'm going to start brushing off over your heart, and then your stomach. So if you don't mind sitting up for me, you've been here before, I can tell. You have really great posture. Then I'm going to polish up your heart, and I'm going to polish up that stomach. Very good, very beautiful, very, very beautiful, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So lucky to have clientele like you. Just make the place just pop. It's all that energy you bring. All right. We can get you a couple refreshments. Our bucket of popcorn here. Give that a good shake. Activate the flavor. You know all about cooking. Shake it up. Shake, 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 shake. All right, I'm just gonna place this here with you. Please have as much as you like. We have plenty. Eat to your heart's content. We also have a bit of sweet candy. Again, gotta shake it up. I just love that sound. I think I would enjoy earthquakes a lot if they were a little bit subtle, I guess. Just a little bit of shaking of pebbles. Little pebble candy. Imagine the world was candy. Delicious. Isn't there? I'm feeling there's lots of, Candy Kingdom from Adventure Time, Candy Island from The Adventures of Flapjack. People like candy. Is that marketing? I don't know. Probably. Here's your beverage anyway. Speaking of sweets, this one's for you. This one's for me. Cheers. All right, let's get started. I'm going to get our movie review or our movie script out so I can give you a movie review. And the previews today are going to be it's a little fun and games, a little sweet, nothing too crazy. Um, yeah, it's like a little bit of like a mall trip. Do you guys go to the mall? I love the mall. Not a lot of people go to the mall. The malls aren't as fun anymore, but I remember when they used to be exceptionally, well, they used to be the thing to do. You go to a movie, like you're going here. While you're waiting for the movie, you could step out and go to the mall a little bit. At least that's how my movie theater was when I was growing up. It was right attached to the mall. And the food court was right out there too. So, get a little get a little pizza, you know? Get a little pizza, grab a little shirt from Old Navy, because it's cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Is Old Navy still in business? I don't know. I have no idea. I should go out more. Keep tabs on what's going on in the world. Or not, I guess. It doesn't really matter. It's not like the world is real anyway. But that's for another movie. It could be this movie, I'm not sure, but yeah. It's a little bit of like a night out, you know. Not like a date or anything, but just like, like you remember going out with your friends? Do people still do that? Do they go out with their friends? Just to kill time. Do people kill time anymore? Or is that just what TikTok's for? A little drop for a little confirmation. So unfortunately, this movie theater is not attached to a mall yet. That could change at some point. We could get into a little bit of like a dress-up thing. Like we could do a little shopping spree at some maybe a little bit further down the road. As business starts picking up, I could yeah, why not? If business starts picking up, there's no reason why I couldn't just kind of like buy a little like clothing store, and then we could do a little shopping montage. Maybe do a salon or like what else could we do? Like a Sephora, like a makeup store? Is that what they call it? Makeup booth? Do something like that. I think that would be really fun. A little girls' night. Okay. I think that's going to be it. So our movie might be a bit short today. Just because, yeah, it didn't seem like there was too much information that the cards wanted me to pull out. But our genre for today is going to be The Lovers. So it's going to be a romance. And I love a romance. Who doesn't love a romance? Besides people who don't like romance. Which makes sense. Yeah. Sorry, I'm feeling a little silly today. Our main character today is going to be Temperance. So this is going to be someone who has like kind of all together. Like this is someone who like, yeah, has it all together. That's nice. I'm happy for them. No, that's really nice. Maybe they're a business owner too. Who knows? I'm not sure. We'll see. Underneath the Temperance, we have the Elder of Cups. So this is like someone who has it all together, but their foundation is going to be in like, oh, what would be a good representation of this, with the elder representing conscientiousness and the cup representing agreeability. This is going to be someone who understands etiquette. Oh yes, like a charm school. Oh my gosh, should I open a charm school? Would you guys? A charm school? I would love to open a charm school. I would love to open a charm school. I would love to help people be more charming. It's really easy. It's really quite easy, honestly. It just takes a little bit of practice. Yes, that would be so fun. Not that this reading is about me necessarily, but I think it is already so inspiring. Above that, we have, above our Temperance main character here, we have the Eight of Cups. So this is going to be a person who is like always kind of like moving forward, letting go. Yeah, lots of letting go. This is someone who like sheds a lot of things. This is someone who's like, well, I guess it could be rather detached. This is gonna be very like, could be like Aquarius energy. Not that you have to be like an Aquarius to resonate with this or enjoy this movie or anything like that, but our main character seems to be a little bit like they're it's so interesting, like they're detached from like society, but they have like a really good hold on what it is to be polite, I suppose. Or maybe this is someone who's letting go of their need to be polite, maybe, possibly. They could have been really strict in that. So this could be someone who grew up like with an obsessive personality, and now they're letting go of that, possibly. Or they're letting go, they might be letting go of certain things of that. And because, you know, personality is rather fixed, and especially for an obsessive type of personality, it can be rather fixed due to their low levels of agreeability, which seems to be the indicator of whether or not someone can transform their personality. Not to say that just because you have low agreeability doesn't mean that you can't level that up, but there's probably the desire to do so is probably low. Yeah, the desire to do so is probably low, especially with an obsessive. An obsessive tends to control the environment around them instead of controlling themselves. They're more interested in controlling their narrative, their perception. Um, oh, so a little bit of lighting issues going on here. Is that you? Did I not brush you off enough? It's not so much, so I'll let you pass on that. But yeah, it seems like could be yeah, anyway, I'll move on because I can't remember what I was just thinking about. Silly me. Um, on one side, we have the Five of Wands, and on the other side, we have the Four of Wands, which is really cute. I don't know why, but I think it's kind of cute. So this is someone who's like kind of like balancing between like uh, the resistance in the world and the support, I suppose. So this is someone who's kind of like, maybe when it comes to letting go with the Eight of Cups here, especially like on emotions, maybe it's letting go of the need to please those who wish to fight, and the need to, yeah, so that they can focus on more agreeable environments, possibly. So as far as the personality trait goes, I'm not quite sure. I guess it is a little bit of like maybe they had a lower level of agreeability and they're kind of raising their levels of agreeability. Oh, I just realized that my nails have been, where'd they go? Oh, there they are. Should I put those on real quick? I guess so. To be neat, right? It's all about etiquette, right? Is maintaining your facade a part of facade? Your face? Your aesthetics? Your image? I guess that's a charm school is a kind of like an obsessive trait, I mean, or goal or something like that. I don't know. I'm just very I don't think I identify as an obsessive, but maybe. Hmm. I mean, hmm. Maybe some traits, maybe some qualities to it, but hmm. Hmm. I definitely think that some other personality types fit me a little bit more. I'm not very outwardly about it. I get, oh, well, the thing about being obsessive is that you have to have a little bit of, well, at least an obsessive personality, you kind of have to have a little bit of competitiveness. So, I don't know. Well, you do want, I mean, who doesn't want to be the best? I want to be the very best that no one ever was. Maybe that's just, subliminals. I don't know. Anywho, on the side of where we have conflict, don't want to mess up. Don't want to mess up the facade. When it comes to the conflicts or whatever, or kind of like letting go of conflicts, or letting go, like, I guess this is kind of like letting go of trying to make everyone happy, and letting go of it needing to be happy all the time. Maybe I do feel like there's a lot of letting go energy here. But on the side of like making everyone happy or making everyone nice. Oh, like that move. It's a Pokemon move called Play Nice, and it lowers both the user and the opponent's attack status, which I think is kind of really cute. I kind of like that. It seems very fair. You like, I'll be nice if you be nice. I like that. But it seems like our character might be letting go of that. Maybe we do have the Adolescent of Swords over the Four of Cups. So well, it is a romance, so I guess it does make sense. It seems like someone is running towards this person. Huh. Yeah. Someone with some vigor and like like an open-minded individual. That's not to say that this is the most mature of individuals, but they are very passionate and they are very intelligent, which is nice, actually. That's actually really pleasant. And it seems like they're running towards in front, like towards, like maybe, you know how, like, when, like, if everything is energy, and just walk with me down this road a little bit. If everything is energy, like sound and color and, atoms that make up matter, whether it's liquid, gas, or solid, if everything is energy, then positive and negative energies would have an effect on each other. Like, the one would be drawn to another, in the hopes to neutralize that energy. And it's kind of giving me a little bit of this. It's like kind of like now that our main character is in this kind of like let go mode, we have like kind of like this we have this high energy individual running towards to fill up that space. It's kind of like when if you had, let's say you had a box, right? And in the box there was a divide, and it was like a watertight divide. So you pour water in one side and the other side doesn't have water. But as soon as you take the slide out of the middle, the water will go into the other side, right? So it's kind of like, now that you kind of like open some space, now that our main character has opened some space, we have this energy kind of like rushing towards them. Like when the ocean pulls back and then rushes back in. I don't know why it's very watery today. I do love water. I love the ocean. I love the ocean. I love rivers too. And just running water. Or just rain. Or lakes and puddles and stuff like that too. I just love water. Anywho, on the side where it has to do with, like, I don't know, maybe like this idea that everything doesn't have to be fun or whatever, I guess, with the Four of Wands, like this is also kind of like a joining together of some sort where there's like a community or something like that. And maybe letting go of like the idea that you like, that is like, like everything, it's giving me a little bit like, it's letting go of the idea that everything has to be like this, and as opposed to this, and kind of having the balance of like, this can exist and this can exist, like you can, it's like the eye in the storm kind of energy, speaking of water and rain and such like that. Let's look at this again. Yeah, this character, and it seems like a person is running from, running to, or running from. running from this kind of like boredom. It's I guess it could be both, and this could be like two characters. I love this. I love doing whatever I am doing right now. Isn't that fun? Isn't that just so fun? I don't know. It's very meditative, and the sound is cool too. Are you feeling sleepy? I am. This is putting me in quite the trance. Okay, I'm glad that stopped. Yeah, this could be someone who's running towards like running towards like the stillness of this person. Like maybe our main character is being like really quiet at this moment, like kind of like their energy is different, I would say. And so this person is like running towards them and also running away from their, like they could be running from their thing. They could have just got like a bit of inspiration. Yeah, I would say this card represents, I would say the adolescence of Swords represents inspiration. And so inspiration could be rushing to this person, or this person could be, or a person, like our main character or someone else, could be, you know, sitting, like kind of like in there, like kind of bored, maybe even like depressed kind of like energy, and then all of a sudden they have like some inspiration. It's giving a little bit of that. And then on the other side, where we have everything is kind of like nice and it's kind of like maybe like the goal, especially since our this the Eight of Cups as it's positioned from my perspective is moving towards this side where we have the Four of Wands. So it's like kind of moving into like more of like pleasure or comfort, joy, something like that. We have the Star over the Three of Swords. Aw. So this is like, oh, this is giving me a little bit of like, yeah, it's giving me like a wish fulfillment, but specifically like kind of like a prayer answering, like how the Star is pouring into this Three of Swords energy. Which, and I think the Three of Swords, because a lot of people, well, I think when I think of the Three of Swords, it invokes emotion because of this heart here. But the swords are all about openness and mentality. So this is kind of like a longing for, yes, thinking that something's out of reach. Yeah, reaching the impossible, and it's like the Star is like pouring into the impossible, which I think is really cute. I think that's really nice. Yeah. Yeah. Is that right? Let's do it like this. So I think that our main character here could be lots of cups at the bottom and then the top, wands a little bit closer to. So this person could be our main character here with a Temperance, could be managing like some overwhelming feelings. Like there's like that, all the action around them and like high energy around them, and then this kind of like watery energy above and below them. Oh wait, that's not water, but the Star has a bit of water in it. Yeah, there's water and swords over here and water and swords over here. Water, water, wands, wands. It's very balanced. Very, very balanced. So yeah, this is really giving me like the Eye of a Storm type of energy. Yeah. As far as a moral goes so far, as a romance, This is very interesting. So maybe the lover's card isn't representing like a romance per se, or this is a very interesting romance because it does kind of seem like there's only one person here. Actually, like now that I look at it, it does seem like this is like kind of like, yeah, this is all just one person. And so this could be like a self-love type of movie, which I think is interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. Because it seems like the characters in this movie are really like, right, besides the main character, it seems like any other character in this movie is a bit of a background character. Like the other characters don't seem like they have like a fleshed out role. Back here. I think that's it for what I'm going to do here. At the bottom of the deck for confirmations, we have the Elder of Pentacles, and that's heavy, heavy, heavy on the conscientious energy. So this is giving me a little bit like, it's kind of like, you know, the universe works in mysterious ways, or it's giving me a little bit of destiny. It's giving me a little bit of like fated. It's giving me a little bit, especially in the contents of what we're talking about here. Or like to support this temperance individual, it's kind of like a type of organizing, and like yeah, it's just a type of organizing with the, you know, combination of this is like exceptionally organized. This is like a very much like knows what to do, when to do it type of energy. I might pull 2 more cards later, but for now. So on the side of, well, on the side of conflict, like in this kind of like inspiration, like it's very much like, I would say like maybe like for our main character here, the conflict has gotten this character down a little bit, but it has inspired our character in some way. And I think that inspiration is in like a very like giving and very supportive type of energy with this 6 of Pentacles, and it's a coming back type of energy too. So this is going back to like their to source maybe, or like their natural implications. I don't think that's a word I meant to say, but yeah, I think this is about like kind of like giving grace, like, you know, giving grace to the conflicts in this person's life, and also like giving appreciation to what's not a conflict. Yeah, I guess it really much is like a sorting out of like picking your battles and like knowing what to give to each battle. It's not even like, you know, it's not even like avoiding it, like it's not like about avoiding any battle. It's about knowing what to give to each one. It's very much like, because it's so funny because I started working on a little bit of a personality chart, and just to kind of like gauge like what you're seeing and what to do with the energy. So I guess it's really reminiscent of that. Like it's really important to understand like how you, oh, this is also part of another thing that I was writing. But it's really important to know who you are, the energy that you give, and what energy you can give. Because like Yeah, I think that a lot of people trying to make a good person someone who has like a lot of energy and wants to help people all the time. And I think that is pretty limiting because, you know, some personalities are just not like that. Some personalities don't have a lot of energy, and some personalities just aren't comfortable with being around other people, or not comfortable being around other people in like providing some type of support. And I think that some of those personalities aren't necessarily bad, although I think at one point I did want everyone to kind of like be like that. Like I said in another video, it would be kind of nice if everyone was just like, you know, a battery, like a battery, like source of positive energy all the time. But we know that that's not the case. And some people, like, you kind of have to respect and accept that some people aren't going to provide that positivity. They're just not. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad person or they don't deserve love, because everyone deserves love, and that's probably the only thing that, you know, that's the only thing that really matters. But yeah, not that they don't deserve like nice things or like whatever to be understood, or maybe that's a better way to put it. Everyone deserves to be understood, and I think that it's time that we take the time to understand other people and who we are. And there's going to be some people based on your personality that you're not going to mesh well with, and that is something that you need to respect just for yourself. You know, you don't need to push yourself to be around or support people who you don't like, basically, um, or who don't fit, and basically, and just like don't fit your energy levels or don't complement your energy levels, basically. You don't have to be nice to everyone, but it's important to know who to be nice with. And I think that's good, especially for people who strive to be like ethically and morally um, like good. I think it's important for you to understand that during that path, you're going to realize, or you're going to run into people who aren't going to accept your goodness, and who don't want your goodness. And there's going to be some people when you can't give goodness to. That's something that's, you know, you have to be really fair about it. Yeah, you have to be really fair about it. It's not only giving other people grace, but it's giving you grace. Because it's that way you don't go home and be like, oh man, I should have been nice to this person or whatever. And, you know, that's a good indicator, because when you get home, you're in your own energy, or you're more like comfortable energy, or wherever you are when you're contemplating things. But if you go somewhere, whether it's home or outside of your home, and it allows you to meditate on the things that happened previously, that's you just coming back into your energy. And of course, you're going to think like of all the good things you could have done. But in that moment, when you're in the situation in which you didn't do all the good things you could have done, you were reacting to the energy of other people. Or that one person or whatever. And sometimes in the presence of that variable, you can't provide that result. So I think that's, you know, I think that's something good to keep your head together. Like, you can still be a good person even though you can't be a good person to everybody. You know, you know. Above that, especially above the conflict and where we go to letting go or whatever, we have the Adolescence of Cups, which is going to be very like passionate and romantic, kind of like a reiteration of the genre with the lovers. Um, so this is going to be, yeah, this is going to be like, I feel like it's, you know, a little bit redundant, but it's a little bit of like, I guess, confirmation that, which is funny because this is a confirmation card, but this is like, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know how else to say it, but like, to know where to give your energy, know who to like walk to, who to offer cups to, and what type of cup to give. Like, you know, sometimes you can be like really good. It can be really good and really pleasant to like play into other people's like disagreements or dislike of things. Like, sometimes you can really uplift someone by saying like, yeah, I hate that thing too. is not necessarily positive, because that's, nothing, hating something isn't a positive energy, but you can make someone feel seen by letting them know that you both disagree on something. So they don't feel alone and they're disagreeing, especially if they disagree, or especially if they don't like something that is kind of like supposed to be liked, or like projected to be liked. So yeah, especially since there's so many things like with marketing and things like that, where people are kind of suggested to like things like, like depending on your gender, you're supposed to like blue or pink. And if someone's like, if someone's expected to like blue, and you're like, you know what, I hate the color blue, and you're like, yeah, blue is kind of like overrated, they will probably feel really good about that. And then they'll probably maybe feel a bit more comfortable to talk about what it is that they do like. So if they don't like blue, maybe they prefer green, or maybe they prefer pink, whatever it is. And then you can be like, oh yeah, no, I love pink. Pink is actually, really great. Or like green is kind of really awesome. It's like just as abundant as blue, and I don't know why we give blue all the credit, something like that. On the other side, where we have like wanting everything to be nice and kind of like this longing for like kind of like a wish fulfillment, I suppose. Yeah, yeah, wish fulfillment, I suppose. We have the Seven of Swords, which is going to be like struggle and mentality. So this is going to be like I guess it's kind of like realizing that everything can't be all nice, nice all the time, even though it would be nice, nice to have it all nice, nice all the time. Um, so yeah, I think it's kind of like understanding like what I think I said this before with a yin yang symbol. Um, you know, with the black has a little bit of white in it, and the white has a little bit of black in it. It's like kind of like dealing with the cognitive dissonance of that. Like there is no absolute good, I suppose, and there is no absolute evil. But it's just based off your perspective, and we all have different perspectives because we all live in different like types of bubbles or whatever. So, and it filters out our ability to see other people in their entirety. So, of course, we're not going to be like kind of universal, and I think this is kind of like what we talk about when we talk about like world peace and things like that, and we're kind of like, why can't we all kind of like be on the same page or whatever? And it's because we just aren't. We're not only are we not on the same page, but we're kind of like a bunch of like little books running around, like separate whole different books, like, and your genre is completely different. I think it's kind of like based off the personality thing that I have. And so I think you can be like one of 12 different types of books. And yeah, which is very much like the zodiacs, like whether it's the lunar New Year zodiac or the Greek zodiac. I think there's lots of. I think that we've been talking as people about the like how we differ in like categorical ways, and so this is like not a new concept. Especially even when we talk about like um just personalities, like in psychology and stuff like that, it kind of works on the same principle as a zodiac, like the Myers-Briggs, even though that's not like scientifically a thing. That's just kind of like someone just, I think it's two people who just made it up or whatever, but it works on the same principle that we are we are almost finitely categorical. And so there's going to be people who can't overlap certain people. Now, when you're in one category, you can overlap. If there's 12, then I could imagine that you as one could overlap over 5 other ones, so that's 6. And then there's 6 that you just can't overlap, and that could vary too depending on your personality type. It could be more like you could resonate with 8, and then therefore there's 4 you can't, or you could resonate with 3, so there's only 4 of you, so there's 8 that you can't. And I think that's something to keep in mind, especially when we try to play nice with everybody. And with the 7 of Cups, like my first thing is to think about is like, there's 7 different types of people, and it can be kind of confusing to kind of like think of things as in a big picture about like exactly what things should be like, but be it would be easy, and I think this is the reason why um um like dictatorships and oligarchies, or even communism can be like a little bit like all those things can be are really stagnant. And I think this is why like things like government or officials, or like having one single head, like a king, emperor, or queen, or empress, or whatever it is, um that having one figurehead to represent all people is kind of like, well, it's an impossibility. That one person can only represent so many people, because they're just so many people, and you can't resonate with every single person. You just can't. And if you could, you would be God. You would be a god, a deity, a goddess, or something like that. And that doesn't show up, at least too often. And if you're watching this and you are of divinity, then welcome. I'm humbled at your presence. It's amazing that you can resonate with all people at one time. That's incredible. But I would definitely say that you are a rarity. And that not many people know of your existence. So if you can, and you can organize the world for everybody, and everyone will be happy, I would suggest that you start running for office, or marry the king or queen of the current country you're in, or whatever it is that you have to do in order to like kind of like work your way up to being like head of the entire world. Um, I would definitely suggest that you get on that. Um, but until then, we all kind of have to like navigate our own worlds and understand that everyone is doing the same thing. It's like we're a bunch of different planets revolving around the sun, and the sun is just like the world that we live in, and we're just here, just traveling about, just kind of like doing our own thing. But again, that's a little bit of my perspective. I'm very much I'm an X-Men. I'm I'm part of the queer community. I'm very much of the, let's all be freaks. Let's all be freaks and do whatever we're gonna do, and respect that we're gonna do whatever we're gonna do. um so, my mindset is that, let everyone be, but not everyone can let everybody be, because that's just not the personality they have. And I have to start respecting that. And I think that, if I had to point out like a flaw of mine, I would say that I'm not very tolerant of other people's inability to live harmoniously with other people. It really kind of like grinds my gears a bit. But I have to understand that their idea of harmony is different than my idea of harmony. And just because their harmony looks like chaos to me, doesn't mean that it's not a form of harmony. I gotta, it's hard, it's difficult. I'm currently struggling with it. You're watching me currently struggle with it. Don't I look just so pretty struggling? It's just so gorgeous. But I'm trying to be respectful of other people and their decisions. I wish it was a little bit more balanced. I feel like a lot of people who can't leave other people alone are in charge of things, but you know what? But that makes a lot of sense, because if you're going to be bothering other people, of course you're going to be looking for an opportunity to bother the most people um, efficiently. So of course there's going to be lots of people who are like CEOs, presidents, kings, that whole thing. Like, you're gonna get yourself a title of authority because you can't help but mess with people. And so, and of course, like the people like me who don't want to tell other people what to do, are just kind of a little bit like in the background, because we're just kind of doing our own thing. We're like lottie lottie da. I'm in my own little bubble. I don't really care what you're doing. Yeah, I don't really care what you're doing, as long as you're happy. I'll start caring as soon as someone like bothers you, or you're bothering me. But yeah, my peace is not your peace. And sometimes your peace is going to bother my peace, and my job is to maintain my peace. So I guess I just have to learn to defend myself. Or if you relate to this too, then we can learn how to defend ourselves together. Um, yeah, yeah. I would say that's the gist of it. Just kind of learn how to defend your station. It's very much like the X-Men. Like you kind of like you have to harness your powers. You have to kind of you're gonna have to like practice them. And your powers, I mean like your boundaries and your value. And you're gonna have to utilize them in a way to protect your personhood at like kind of like all costs. While some people will use that to ruin your personhood at all costs, but that's a personality trait. Honestly, it is a personality. Being low in agreeability and high in extroversion is a combination of personality, and it just simply exists. And the only way to make people stop doing that is to like kind of get rid of those people, and that doesn't seem really fair because they didn't ask to be here. Like they didn't. I mean, well, I don't think they did. If you're a person who likes to bother other people, and in the spirit realm, you were like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna bother as many people as I possibly can, and I would say, okay, well, you are not on my friends list, I would say, but I cannot. It's not. It wouldn't be moral of me to want to get rid of you physically. It wouldn't be right. It's just not right. You deserve to exist, and you deserve it to exist and have in peace, and to be understood just like I do. So just because I understand you to a level in which I do not resonate with, doesn't mean that I have any right to say that you can't be here anymore. That's it. I just don't. The only thing I can do is be like, okay, well, you can exist over there, and every time you try to come over here and bother me, this is what's going to happen. Like, I have the right to defend myself, but I do not have the right to like take you out. That's basically the gist I'm getting. So if you resonate with this, and you are someone who just kind of wants to be like left, like not really like left, like if you want to not be bothered by other people, if you feel like oppressed by other people, which is kind of crazy because we have whole movements about this. So again, it does make it seem like it's unfair, but when you're being oppressed, if you resonate as a person who's being oppressed, all you can do is learn how to defend um, your autonomy, learn how to fight off oppression. Um, and I think it's going to be a little bit of like a one thing at a time. Maybe. If you have any insight or advice on what to do for people who feel oppressed but want to respect other people's personhood, even though like I have to accept the personhood of a person even if they don't accept the personhood of another person. Like, is that true? Like, should I respect the personhood of someone who goes around and just like unalives people? Do we have the right to unalive them even though they're running around unaliving other people? Like, I feel like, I mean, that's a debate. People like with the death penalty and stuff like that. People talk about that, and they are conflicted, especially since like with convictions like that, people who are innocent can be convicted. Just lots of people, and then we could change our mind about what that conviction should have been like, just like we did with after the legalization of marijuana. There's still like, isn't there still people in jail who with possession of marijuana, and they're like still in jail? So it's not like we're gonna rectify it. And if it was a criminal offense in which like the electric chair was needed, we couldn't bring them back. Just like when I feel like yeah, at one point, wasn't it illegal for a person of color to have a relationship with a non-colored person, a white person? Like wasn't that like put to death? Is like, and now we're here where we, now we're here and we support interracial relationships and stuff like that. I mean, we can't bring those people back to life. We can't give those people the life that they lost. We can't give them like the love that they lost. We can't do that. Um, people used to be put to death for not working in the fields. And, we know now that making someone work in the field with no pay is wrong, but we can't bring them back. So, so, but, and I guess like with, I don't know, like I don't know. I really don't know what to do about that, especially with the Epstein files and stuff like that. I'm like, these people took, lives. They took lives, whether it's like physical or emotional or mental or whatever it is, or just spiritual, like, their sense of self. And what do we do about that? What do we do about that? I mean, besides the nothing that we're doing right now. Um, yeah, what do we do about that? I guess what we do about that is understand the signs and how it happened, and how to protect the future victims, I suppose, which is really a shame for those who were previous victims, because now the damage is done and it can't be undone. But maybe if we listen to the people who went through that, we could understand what the signs are. And maybe they can give us a better insight on what to not indulge in or trust. And, that could be very helpful for future generations, basically. Yeah, so I think that, yeah, talking about when to not be part of a relationship or not to humor a relationship, or to know when a relationship isn't good for you, is so, so, so very important. To understand yourself and the energies of other people is so, so, so important, so that you're not forcing yourself into a situation in which that you will suffer a loss and cannot retrieve any justice from it. So, like I say every day, I say this every day, even if it's just to myself, but if it's making you feel stressed, pressured, or confused, you get rid of that. Get out of there. It's dangerous. You're in danger. If you're feeling stressed and pressured and confused, you're in danger. Um, Unless you want to be in danger. And that's okay too. Again, I'm going to respect your personhood, so I'm going to respect the decisions that you make. But if you do not wish to be part of the Me Too movement, it's important that you understand these things. And it's a lot more, it's not about what you do, it's about what other people do, and how to see it. Lots of people work in the shadows, and it's very important to illuminate those corners. Especially if you're a person who is going to raise kids, it's really, really important for you to understand how to teach them to protect themselves, or to avoid situations that would harm them physically, emotionally, um, intellectually, or spiritually. Yeah, like, especially, when it comes to religion and stuff like that, and the whole Catholic Church thing or whatever. And it's very important to know, even the understanding who to trust when it comes to people that teach your kids whatever it is that they teach them. If they're going to take your kids somewhere, like across the country, or overseas, or anything like that, it's really important to know this person, know the signs, know how to look at them, know how to kind of test them, and to know, yeah, in a consistent way, in a way that consistency is the biggest indicator of someone's personhood. So if you meet someone new, you have to spend some time with them. You can't trust someone you just met. And I think this is the biggest thing that when people talk about when it comes to like Disney movies and the princesses just falling in love with the prince of the movie. Of course, in the movie, everything all works out just fine. But in reality, that's not the case. Anyone can pretend to be a prince. Anyone can be anyone can pretend to be a princess, and I do think that it goes both ways, of course, or whatever gender identity you have, but it's about spending time with someone. Time will show someone's true colors. It just will. No mask, no facade can stay on for long. So it's really important to know, like, especially if someone's gonna take advantage of you, they're going to feel entitled to you. And so making them wait or postponing the thing that you know that they want is probably going to be the best decision that you do, especially if you're dating. If you think if someone likes you or wants to see you or whatever, you don't meet them on the first night. You don't. And I think when it comes to like hookup culture and things like that, it's just very, very dangerous. And I think that the promotion of hookup culture is also the promotion of sex trafficking, and you want to avoid that. If you want to avoid that, if you do not want to be trafficked, you're gonna have to avoid hookup culture. It's just not going to be. It's just not practical. It's like 1+1, like yeah, it's just 1+1. And I know a lot of people are like, I think a lot of people really get on adolescence and stuff like that and be like, you don't know them, blah, 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 you don't trust them, blah, 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 blah. And, the adults are kind of right in a sense. But, it doesn't have to be so harsh. And so I can understand, like, people would be like, but my feelings and blah, blah, blah. And, like, that's totally respectable. I can respect your feelings. But take your time. Just take your time. Just take your time. Just take your time. And also, like, kind of understand that people, like, this is the other thing. A little dating advice from me. Make them wait. Okay, make them wait. Whether you're male, whether you identify as male or you identify as female or non-binary or whatever it is, no matter if you're young or old, this is just general dating advice. Make them wait. Talk to them for a little bit. Make them wait. I don't know how many times I have to say it. But also, there was one other thing I was going to say. What was it? Definitely make them wait. Because they're gonna feel entitled to you, and if you make them wait and they don't want to like talk to you anymore, that means you did good. That means you did good. So and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt your feelings. It is gonna hurt your feelings, especially if they did the whole little facade that they liked you, and then when you made them wait, they act like they don't like you. Yeah, that's gonna hurt your feelings. I'm gonna lie about that. But it's like kind of like you give them an inch, she'll take a mile. Everyone will. Everyone will. Don't accept minimum effort. If you have to fill in the blanks, that's bad. Don't fill in the blanks. If you're trying to get someone's attention and you're kind of trying to get them to like, well, actually, I'm not gonna tell you like what. Well, like if you're trying to make them say that they like you first when you like them, that you're playing a game, and I guess I can't really say anything about that because it's your personality. So if you want to play games, then you can play games, I suppose. But if you're on the receiving end of that, if someone's approaching you and they don't say that they like you, or they don't say what they want, don't fill in that blank. Just don't fill in that blank. Wait, if they want something, they'll ask for it. And if they want something and they're not asking for it, they're wanting something that they don't feel like be received well if they asked for it up front. Okay, that's something to make note of. I still can't remember that other thing that I was going to say. I guess maybe I feel like it was good. It was like good advice. And and if you do this and you make them wait or whatever, and you make them wait long enough, and it's consistent enough for you to like go on like that first date or whatever, um, if you have to at one point like, if you can't meet that, like, anyone who feels entitled to your space immediately, that's a red flag. Okay, that's someone who wants to take advantage of you, or at least that's someone who thinks they're entitled to you and your personhood, and that's not. I don't suggest continuing a relationship with someone who feels entitled to your time. All right, no one is entitled to your time. Your energy and your time is something that you give permission to. That's your control. That's, anytime you can take that away. Yeah, anytime you can take that away. At any time you can take that away, and you don't have to explain anything. So as when people talk about ghosting and things like that, it's nice to be communicative of your boundaries and things like that. But if you, it's important to be communicative of your boundaries. But if someone makes you feel stressed or pressed or confused, they're likely doing it on purpose. And you can say, I mean, yeah, you can say like, okay, I need a minute to think about this, whatever it is. Sorry, that was kind of like bothering me for a little bit. It's just like the shape, I think, I wouldn't be surprised if people who are, it's kind of tricky because you don't want to, I mean, you don't want to lead someone on. So if you feel like you need to leave a situation, it's best for you to just leave the situation. It's best for you to say, hey, I'm not feeling this. I'm gonna move on. I wish you the best of luck in the dating game or whatever. But I do think that people who are rather obsessed and upset with people who ghost, I think they feel entitled to something. Especially if you were all nice, and then all of a sudden you're gone. I think people feel like, well, you owe me something because you said you were going to give me something. And that's not right. That's not right. Because, and I want to say, like, in that situation, like, imagine if you're married or whatever, and they're going to act like this, and you're just like in the other room, they're going to be like, they're not respecting your space. They're not respecting your space. They're just not respecting your space. If you don't want to fuck with them, you don't want to fuck with them. All right, move on. There's 1 out of 7 billion people out here. So yeah, I feel like those who like, I used to read blogs on people who ghost or what, like people who have been ghosted or why ghosting is bad and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's not bad. Well, my personality type says it's not bad. It's bad to want to force someone to stay when they don't want to stay. All right, if you're watching this and you have been ghosted, that person does not want to stay with you. All right, it can't get any clearer than that. So I don't know what the problem is. They don't want to fuck with you. So move on to someone who wants to fuck with you. And honestly, you should take that L as a lesson. You should take that as a blessing. That person doesn't want to be with you. Why would you want someone to be with you who doesn't want to be with you? Especially if you're like, oh, it was so nice and blah, blah, blah. Well, obviously it wasn't. Obviously something happened. Obviously something was wrong. Whether it's in in that person's personal life, or you did something wrong or whatever, just, and I guess, the communication thing is really helpful for other people who are like, I don't know what I did wrong and blah, blah, blah. But like, I would also say in my philosophy, my personal philosophy, due to my personality, it doesn't mean that you have to agree with this, is that everyone knows exactly what they're doing. Okay? So if you've been ghosted, and you're like, I don't know what I did wrong, you know exactly what you did wrong. Whether it's like you weren't available, or that you said something rude, or you just didn't like you just didn't get what this person was saying. Like yeah, you didn't catch the drift. Whatever it is, you know that, and you can look at, and especially if it's online, because lots of dating is online now. You can read back on the messages. What was the last thing you said before they stopped talking to you? And how did it start? What was the energy? Read over your notes. All the information you need is right there. And if everything was good and then you just left or whatever, consider it you were being catfished. Consider that they died. Honestly, consider that they had an accident, or someone in their family had. Consider an emergency. And if they do come back, they might come back. And if they say like, hey, I had an emergency, sorry about that, sorry it took me so long to get back to you, then you know. If they don't come back ever, then yeah, if it makes you feel better, if it helps with the cognitive dissonance, consider yourself being catfished. Just do that. It'll save you a lot of time. You can move on. People who are worried about being ghosted can't move on, and that is a sign of either being a avoidant or a dependent. And that low level extroversion just is an indication of your low confidence. So maybe just work on your confidence. Maybe stop focusing on that person to validate you and start validating yourself. Is my is in my personality. So you might be avoidant, or you might be anxious, and you might be like, no, I need people to validate my personhood or whatever, and that's fine. But you're gonna have to move on to someone who's going to do it. You can't force someone to do it just because they look nice, and you're like, oh, it would be really nice if they did it. No, they're not gonna do it. So move on to someone who's going to do it, especially if they suggest something like they're not going to play into that, they're not going to support your dependent or avoidant tendencies, then, which is totally fair. Not to say that you have to change being avoidant or dependent, is that you have to find someone who wants someone to be avoidant or dependent. And there's plenty of personalities out there. There's plenty of personalities out there, and there's plenty of people within those personalities. So keep it pushing, guys. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. You don't have to force relationships to exist, but if you want to, you can. But yeah, you can. I can't say anything more than what I just said. I can't. I'm of a different personality type. I actually, you know what? Taking advice from me on that instance is, a little bit silly, because I don't know what it's like to be like that. Well, I mean, I've definitely gone through my anxious moments, but in general, my personality type is quite self-involved. So, you know, I'm not. I don't know what it's like to need other people to like validate you on a constant basis. I don't know what that's like. I haven't had that experience. I haven't had any. Yeah, I haven't had anyone in my life support or reassure me constantly. I haven't. So I don't know. I don't know what the appeal is, because I haven't tasted that fruit. So if you know something about that and you want to tell me or tell other people who might watch this video who need validation from other people, then Yeah, definitely feel free. Knowledge is power, and the more that we talk about things, the better off we'll be. I think. I think, but that might just be my personality. You can make your decision. If you think things and you don't want to tell anybody about them, I can respect that. I can respect that. I think things and have to tell everybody everything. Everything I think, I have to tell everybody. I have to tell everybody everything. I have to tell everybody everything. Every thought that goes through my mind has to come out of my mouth. It just does, some way, somehow. Out of my mouth, out of my hands. Either I have to write it, draw it, something, talk about it, make a whole video about it, whatever, wear it. I have to do it. If you don't have to do it, you don't have to do it. You don't have to be like me. I don't have to be like you. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, and you definitely ain't going to tell me how to live mine. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it here. So I hope you enjoyed the movie. If you didn't enjoy it, that's totally your choice, and I completely respect it. If you, oh, how about this? I hope that you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. If you do not wish to have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, then that's totally your choice, and I completely respect it. Okay? All right, guys. Until next time.